And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and we do that from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I'm also on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. You can call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. On today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS looses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Today, my expert contributor is Suzette Mailer. She's talking travel on the IFAB Travel Corner. She's also going to talk about a new Senate bill that's coming up in California. You'll find that interesting, and I think it's an infringement of our rights. We'll talk about that a little bit later. My special guest today, Sean Lefebvre. We're going to be talking about healthcare and lots of really interesting things. You don't want to miss that. But right now, I want you to stand by for news. But before that, I want you to know that at 4:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 88 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, I promised you the news, and the news is what you're going to get. Here we go. U.S. stocks extend losses as early rally fades. This came in 31 minutes ago. Just when it looked as if the bleeding had stopped, it started up again. A rally in U.S. stocks evaporated in the minutes before the closing bell today, sending the Dow Jones Industrial Average down more than 200 points and extending Wall Street's losing streak to 6 days, the longest such stretch in more than 3 years. Where the market might bottom out is anybody's guess, not exactly comforting news to anyone whose retirement savings or down payment on a house are tied up in stocks. The rally came after China lowered interest rates to try and boost its slowing economy. Other world markets surged on the news out of Beijing, and for a while it looked as if U.S. stocks would follow suit and the global sell-off might stop. Stocks also got a lift from economic reports showing a rebound in U.S. consumer confidence and sales of new American homes. At one point today, the Dow was up as much as 441 points, but sell orders began pouring in the last 15 minutes of trading, and stocks swung abruptly from positive to negative territory. The Dow ended with a loss of 204.91 points, or 1.3%, at 15,666.44. The Standard & Poor's 500 index fell 25.6 points, or 1.4%, pretty equal to 1,867.61, and the NASDAQ Composite declined 19.76 points, or 0.4%, to 4,506.49. The return to more traditional stimulus from China helped excite many investors, said Jeff Klingtop, chief global investment strategist at Charles Schwab. But, in fact, this is more likely the start of a longer-term period of volatility. Well, we've seen that before. It's not going to be the first time. It's not going to be the last, right? That's for sure. That's for sure. The stock market's all over the news today. I'm not going to give you any more than that. That's enough for you. You know that it's not good, right? And people are reacting in a bad way. It's sell-off time because people don't want to lose any more profits. How about this? Came in today. The France trained suspect watched jihadi video, prosecutors say, Minutes before he slung an assault rifle across his chest and walked through a high-speed train, the Moroccan suspect in the foiled attack watched a jihadi video on his cell phone, the French prosecutor said, informally opening a terrorism investigation today. The actions by Ayoub El-Kazani on the Amsterdam to Paris train Friday night and information from other European authorities on his travels and apparent links to racial Islam prompted the investigation, said prosecutors Francois Moline. El-Kazani, 26 years old, was tackled and tied up by 5 passengers, including 3 Americans and a Briton, averting what President Francois Hollande said could have degenerated into a monstrous carnage. You know what? It just keeps going, right? You don't know how many of these people are sympathizers and have no real connection to the Islamic State, and some of them actually got trained and recruited by the Islamic State. Now it's beginning to wonder. How about this? Islamic State war, like others, heritage always a target. A nearly 2,000-year-old temple in the Syrian city of Palmyra this week was the latest victim in the Islamic State group's campaign of destruction of historic sites across the territory that it controls in Iraq and Syria. The group has destroyed ancient buildings and artifacts as well as shrines to Shiite and Sunni Muslim saints, looting some sites for profit, all in the name of purging what it considers symbols of idolatry to create a society dedicated solely to its extreme and violent interpretation of Islam. The IS campaign has horrified many around the world with a scope of destruction that hasn't been seen for decades. Still, it isn't unprecedented. Throughout the centuries, invaders, religious fanatics, and colonizers have targeted works of art, houses of worship, and other pieces of heritage. The goal is often to uproot, eliminate, replace, or impose control over the culture and heritage of their opponents. Nearly every ethnic or religious conflict across history has seen at least some cultural destruction, along with genocides like the Nazi Holocaust against the Jews. We can analyze this to death. But it just seems to me that at some point we have to get real about what we're going to do to put an end to this. It has to end. Well, in 1 hour ago, budget report sees shrinking deficits, but only for now. An unforeseen flood of revenue is shrinking federal deficits to the lowest level of President Barack Obama's tenure, Congress's nonpartisan budget advisors said today. But in a report that will fuel both parties in their autumn clash over spending, the analysts also warned that perilously high shortfalls will roar back unless lawmakers act. 2 weeks before Congress returns from recess, the Congressional Budget Office said it expects the year's federal deficit to fall to $426 billion. That's $60 billion less than it expected in March, thanks to a greater than expected individual and corporate income tax collections and less than a third of the record $1.4 trillion gap of 2009 as the government tried fighting off the Great Recession. White House spokesman Eric Schultz said Congress should prevent cuts in agency budgets and fund highways and other projects, saying we need to stay focused on this route and avoid self-inflicted wounds like a government shutdown. One of the things that you have to know here, you heard us talking about the stock market, you heard us talking about China devaluing their dollars or their yuan, and that has an awful lot to do with our deficit going down too, because remember that our biggest creditor is China. We owe them more money than we owe anybody else. And when the value of their yuan went down and the value of our dollar went up, it resulted in us owing less money to China, which reduced our deficit. So it's not all rocket science around here. Now, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to talk some more about the news. We're going to get into less lethal weapons get new interest amid police shootings. I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. When we left, we were talking news. We're going to talk news one more segment. Less lethal weapons get new interest amid police shootings. This came in 55 minutes ago. Police in more than 20 North American cities are testing the latest and less lethal alternatives to bullets. Blunt impact projectiles that cause suspects excruciating pain but stop short of killing them, or at least that's the goal. Police have long had what they considered non-lethal weapons at their disposal, including pepper spray, stun guns, and beanbag projectiles, but even those weapons have caused deaths, leading to a search for less lethal alternatives. The quest has taken on new urgency in the past year amid furor over a string of high-profile police shootings of black men. Micron Products Incorporated, a wholly owned subsidiary of Arrhythmia Research Technology based in Fitchburg, makes the new ammunition, which are much larger than rubber bullets and have silicone heads that expand and flatten on impact, enhancing the pain and incapacitating a suspect. One executive of the company that patented the technology was a guinea pig and described experiencing the business end of a BIP as the equivalent of being hit by a hockey puck. It was like, ow, I had to shake it off, said Alan Easer, Executive Vice President of Security Devices International, a defense technology company that hired Micron to make the projectiles, which were developed by a ballistics engineering company in Israel. 16 law enforcement agencies in the U.S. and 6 in Canada have purchased the projectiles, including SWAT units of the Los Angeles County and Sacramento County Sheriff's Departments in California and police departments in East Hartford, Connecticut, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Los Alamos, New Mexico. They want an option that bridges the gap between baton, taser, and their service weapons, said Salvatore Imma, Micron's chief executive officer. Wow. The projectiles do not penetrate the skin like conventional bullets, but They do cause pain and discomfort. Officers are trained to shoot the projectiles at arms and legs. A person hit in the torso at close range during disturbance in Canada got a large bruise but no lasting injury, said Gregory Sullivan, SDI's chief executive officer. Well, you know what? Hezbollah throws weight behind the protests and deepening crisis. The powerful Lebanese Shiite group Hezbollah threw its weight today, behind mass protests calling for the government's resignation, deepening a crisis that started over piles of uncollected garbage in the streets of the capital, but has tapped into much deeper malaise. The explosion of anger targets the epidemic corruption, hapless government, and sectarian divisions of a brittle country, once torn by civil war and now struggling with a wave of hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees. A grassroots youth movement calling itself You Stink mobilized thousands of people in 2 rallies over the weekend and has called for another large protest on Saturday. The Hezbollah announcement of support for the protests is likely to fuel concerns that Iranian-backed group will try to hijack a rare non-political movement for its own political gain. Might try? That's a joke. How about this? Donald's in the news again. Fox News chief says Donald Trump owes Megyn Kelly an apology. Fox News chief Roger Ailes said today that Donald Trump owes the network's Megyn Kelly an apology for an unprovoked Twitter attack that is unacceptable as it is disturbing. But Trump isn't backing down. The Republican presidential frontrunner turned TV critic had welcomed Kelly back from a vacation Monday night by tweeting that he liked her show better while she was away. Trump said Kelly must have had a terrible vacation because she's really off her game. He retweeted a message that referred to her as a bimbo. Megyn Kelly represents the very best of American journalism, and all us at Fox News channel reject the crude and irresponsible attempts to suggest otherwise, said Ailes. The Fox News channel chairman, I could not be more proud of Megyn for her professionalism and class in the face of all of Mr. Trump's verbal assaults. Trump, in a statement, said he disagreed with Ailes and that he doesn't think Kelly is a quality journalist. Hopefully, in the future, I will be proven wrong and she will be able to elevate her standard to a level of professionalism that a network such as Fox deserves. You know what? Nobody can attack Donald Trump without getting it right back. Well, Obama's feeling feisty, ready to take on the crazies. President Barack Obama is putting people on notice. He's back from vacation feeling refreshed, renewed, recharged, and a little feisty. He immediately showed his feisty side. At a Democratic fundraiser Monday night in Nevada, Obama declared himself ready for the challenges that he faces this fall in dealing with Republican Congress that disagrees with him on the budget, energy policy, education, and much more. Obama said that he's ridden to the fundraiser with Senate Democratic leader Harry Reid. They'd done some reminiscing and spent some time figuring out how we are going to deal with the crazies in terms of managing some problems. He didn't identify exactly who the two of them had defined as crazies, but Obama spoke at length about his differences with the GOP Congress. And he lamented that too often our political debates are not about what's best for the country, but what's best for the next election. If the country is to remain a strong world leader, he said, it needs not just a president who, after a few gray hairs, seems to know what he's doing, but we also need a Congress that functions. Obama also looked beyond the immediate challenges to simpler times down the road. From his lips? Yeah, to somebody's ears. Anyway, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to talk about the IRS loses. And the first case is, hey, it's too late to collect tax from a bankrupt. I'll explain that to you right after these brief messages. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh, yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And, they lose on a regular basis, in case you didn't know it. But they try very hard, try to avoid tax court if they think they're not going to prevail. But you know what? That wouldn't be any fun, would it? So let's talk about the IRS losing. First off, it's too late to collect from a bankrupt. Let me tell you about it. Glenn Redkay declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and the court approved a reorganization plan under which he would sell investment assets to pay his debts. Now, before the sale, he died. The assets were then sold, but the IRS asked the court to reopen the bankruptcy case, saying the bankruptcy estate owed capital gains tax on the sale. So the estate went to court. This is what the judge said. After a Chapter 11 reorganization plan is approved, the bankruptcy estate terminates and its assets vest back in the former debtor. Now here, that meant that they vested in Redkay's personal estate. So the IRS's bankruptcy claim is dismissed and it must collect capital gains tax owed, if any, after loss offsets from the personal estate. Well, I can tell you, that just flat out is not going to happen. How about this? The IRS concedes. Now, you've heard me say this many, many times. The IRS only concedes when they're pretty doggone sure they can't prevail in court. And that's what's going on here. I'll tell you about it. The VA work therapy payments are tax-free. Let me tell you about it. The IRS says that it will no longer tax payments made under the Department of Veterans Affairs, that's the VA, compensated work therapy program. Now, to the participants in it. Now, the program provides paid work that also has therapeutic benefits to veterans. Now, the IRS treated the payments as taxable wages until the tax court recently ruled them to be a tax-free health benefit. Now, the IRS now says that it will not appeal and that that program participants who paid tax on the payments that they received from it during the last 3 years are entitled to tax refunds if they file for them. Yeah, if they file for them. God, let's hope that they all hear about it and they all file for them. How about this? The IRS loses. Neglect is not excusable. The IRS was considering whether Timothy Severs was personally liable for $200,000 of employment taxes owed by a business when he declared bankruptcy. Via automated procedures that apply in all bankruptcy cases, the IRS checked Severs' tax debts. It found that they were minimal on his personal tax return, so it didn't file a claim in the bankruptcy case. Later, the IRS auditor held that Severs did owe the $200,000 of taxes, but did not tell the IRS's bankruptcy case division. IRS finally made a late claim for them, arguing that it's excusable neglect permitted it. So here's what the judge said. The IRS is a sophisticated creditor, and its neglect is not excusable, and so, you got it, the claim is dismissed. Well, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. Well, that's where we're at right now. Okay, so these are not tax court cases, but this is information that is published and it's public, and you can use this information for your own benefit so that you know what's going on and even how to defend yourself should you have to do that. The first case here is going to jail for a tax crime even if you reported all of your income. Can you imagine? Let me tell you about it. When the IRS cannot prove that you failed to report all of your income, it may still be able to prove you committed a tax crime. So you got to be careful. Here's an alert for you. Small business owners have a tendency to hire employees off the books to save payroll taxes, avoid union assessments, and attract foreign aliens not permitted to work in this country. If the IRS decides to pursue a criminal case, it will claim that the small business owner willfully aided and abetted in the filing of false payroll tax returns. Another crime the IRS will attempt to charge is obstruction of justice. If the person being audited tells his or her friends and business associates what to say or not say if they're contacted by the IRS investigators. You've got to be really, really careful, guys. Absolutely. How about this one? Lawsuits against the largest accounting and law firms for faulty tax shelter advice. Here's the deal. Unhappy investors in tax shelters, structured by some of the biggest and most prestigious accounting and law firms in the country, have continued their lawsuits in state court seeking recovery under favorable state laws. Let me give you some background here. The big companies created very complex and exotic transactions designed to shelter income. When the IRS began to audit these deals, they were shown to be complex, uneconomic shams that simply generated tax savings. Investors are seeking damages for breach of fiduciary duty, fraud, negligent misrepresentation, breach of contract, and malpractice, and civil conspiracy. So that's where we're at. That's where we got to be. So don't go away. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner. We'll be right back. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're waiting for a call in from our own Sean Lefebvre. We're having some technical problems here. I hope that we resolve those, and hopefully he will give me a call here any second. So we'll see. There he is. Hey, Sean, you out there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm glad I got you. I don't know what's going on with that other system, but I put you into another one, and I'm glad to do it. So you know what? I don't want to ruin the tremendous introduction I've got ready for you. So hang on, I want to get that going right now. Okay. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean Lefebvre, in his Geared for Wellness Corner. Hey, Sean, welcome aboard. I'm sorry for the technical problems. I don't know. We had this thing all tested out this morning. I don't know what the heck's going on with it, but in any event, we've got you on the line with us, and I'm happy to hear that.
Well, I'm glad I'm online with you. So how's the weather out there today, Robert?
Well, the weather out here today, it is currently 88 degrees, down from 92 degrees on its way to 70, but it's, 88 degrees is nowhere close to the 108 that it was a week or so ago.
I was going to say 20-degree temperature drop, you're doing pretty well. So
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. So how was your weekend?
It was good. I did some work and did some play and hung out with some friends and went to a concert in the park and just had a good time overall. It was nice.
You know what?
Did
I just dream this, or did you go twice? Did you go the weekend before to the concert in the park too?
Yeah. I've done that. They have in Laguna Beach. They have a series that they do every summer, and I think it runs for, I'm sure if it's 7 or 8 weeks or something like that. And they have a different genre of music, like yesterday, but this past Sunday was kind of like a bluesy, almost jazzy kind of soul. It was really, really good stuff. And they had reggae the week before that, country music before that, and so it's a little bit. They had a Neil Young cover band at one time, and so it's been fun. So but this past Sunday was the last one of the summer, so we don't get to do that again until next summer.
Well, that's great. That's great.
It feels like I haven't talked to you in forever. It feels like it's been a month, not a week. I know it's been a week. A week before that, we talked like 4 times in 1 week. So it's pretty awesome, but it feels like I haven't talked to you in forever.
You know what? I need to explain that because the truth is that you're my go-to guy. If we have last-minute cancellations or there's some kind of an emergency or something going on, I've got you're the first guy that I call, and you're the guy that I actually. It's unfair to you, but I count on you because you always accommodate me.
But it's fun for me. I love being on your show, so we always have a good time, and sometimes we actually talk about some important stuff.
and sometimes we don't, right?
Yeah, because you don't always have to in life. Sometimes life doesn't need to be that important. Sometimes it just needs to be life. That's it. Nothing complicated.
Hey,
so how was your weekend?
You know what? I had a terrific weekend, and as a matter of fact, and I've got another great one coming up. Last weekend, my grandkids were here with me, and I just love when that happens. And my grandson Joey, who you've heard me talk. Matter of fact, you've talked to Joey before, and he's a gourmet eater, and he's kind of interested in cooking and stuff like that too. And so generally he'll come over and I'll say, "Okay, Joe, what do you want?" And I'll cook him anything he wants. Right? Well, he wanted to have duck à l'orange last Saturday, so that's what we did for him. And obviously we had to make chicken for Marlene because she doesn't like duck. And for those of you that don't know, Marlene is my wife. And little Johnny doesn't like anything, so we made him mac and cheese, and he thought he was in seventh heaven.
Well, your food is amazing, so no matter what you make, I'm pretty sure anyone's going to feel like they're in seventh heaven. So.
Oh, well, thanks for the compliment. Anyway, Joey's coming. Joey and Johnny are coming again this coming weekend because his mom and dad are going to go out and celebrate their wedding anniversary. And so I've asked Joey already, "Okay, Joe, what do you want?" And he says, "Well, you know what? We had duck last week. Well, let's do rack of lamb this week." Kid's 12 years old.
Yeah, that's how my son Victor. That's exactly how he was. When at 10, 12 years old, we'd go out and he'd want to have the rack of lamb. He loves that stuff. He always has. There's no surprise that he's a chef at one of the best resorts in the nation right now. They serve all 5-star meals. It's pretty amazing. But he's always had expensive taste in food. When he's home, he makes macaroni and cheese. But
well,
when he's at work, he makes rack of lamb and he makes all kinds of crazy stuff.
Well, it's interesting when the kids were young. And I'm thinking about my granddaughter Riley Logan. Riley is she's at NYU now, and she's just entering into her second year. And when she was a little girl, wanted her to try a lot of different things, and she wouldn't want to try it unless we said, "Hey, it tastes like chicken." Everything tasted like chicken, right? Well, I mean, to this day, lobster, caviar, frog's legs, rattlesnake, steak, lamb, anything you call it tastes like chicken, right? It tastes like, and she'd eat it. She says, "Well, it's really, really good, but it doesn't taste like chicken."
At least she's smart enough to figure that out. That's great.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I sent you some stuff, and I'm anxious to hear your take on it, especially the one about occupations, especially bakers, are contracting asthma. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. You sent me that article, and it's fascinating, and it really makes a lot of sense because any time that you have a foreign invader in the body is going to find a way to get rid of it, to reject it, and what happens? Asthma is a really interesting condition. It's the only health condition that my son ever had, and I fought long and hard to try to figure out how to get him to overcome that naturally without having to give him the drugs, and it's scary and it's frustrating, and it's just a tough condition to deal with. But what happens is it's actually an overactive response. So your immune system is so strong that it attacks so hard that it actually closes up the airways. It creates this inflammatory response. And so with these bakers getting it, and, this is kind of a new thing. I think this goes along the lines of how we talk about, a lot of people have these gluten sensitivities. And we've changed the structure of the wheat protein, the gluten, so much that our bodies react to it. Well, now you've got this flour that if you take it, and they're sifting it or whatever they're doing, they're kneading the stuff and they throw some flour on there and poof, it gets in the air and they're breathing it in. Well, you do that once in a while. If you bake some bread at home once in a while, it's not going to be a big deal. But over a long-term exposure, what happens is the body starts to build up antibodies. It's like any other type of allergy. Usually, if you go to a place where you might be allergic to the local fauna or flora, the local flora, you may not notice it the first season you're there, maybe not even the second season, but by the third season, all of a sudden you're going outside and you're sneezing and you're congested and you're having breathing issues. It's because it took your body a season or two to build up the antibodies to attack this stuff. So now, what's happened with these bakers is they're breathing in all of this dust from the flour, and after a period of time, the body starts to learn how to build antibodies to attack it. And of course, when it gets in the lungs, it creates an inflammatory response, and now you've got asthma. And it's a pretty scary thing. But it's one of those things that you just go, I don't know if there's a way to overcome that. I know with my son, with his asthma, one of the things that we found out, it took us forever to figure this one out. As a little kid, you want to feed them the stuff that kids want. They love pizza and they love, whatever, mac and cheese and whatever else. But we discovered that he would eat pizza, and about 2 hours after eating pizza, he would have an asthma attack.
Oh, really?
And all of a sudden we noticed it one day. We're like, that's really weird, And all of a sudden it's like, the next time we had pizza, bam, is that a coincidence? Like that happened last time we had pizza. And then the third time we went, okay, there's something going on here. And we could tell if he would go over to a friend's house and they would have pizza, because he'd come home the next day, like he spent the night over to a friend's house and they had pizza. He would come home the next day and he would be wheezy. He would have to use his inhaler. And so really when something like that, with these bakers, for instance, it's all about getting that source of exposure out of the body and removing yourself from further exposure. And over time, your body will stop building those antibodies, and so you can actually slowly reintroduce things. Like now my son, because we don't eat pizza a lot, and we've taken a lot of things, we've made changes in his diet, and also we're living in California as opposed to Kansas, which Kansas is loaded with all kinds of toxins in the air, mainly pesticides, but also it's agriculture. There's a lot of pollens there. There's, everything that they're doing from all the harvesting. It's just Wichita, Kansas is the worst place in the country to live if you have asthma or allergies. And so now that we're here in California, he's not being constantly exposed to things, and we've made changes in the diet. He can go out and he can have pizza with his buddies and be totally fine. He doesn't need his inhaler. So those kind of things, something like that is fixable. Now, for a baker, you got to, if that's your livelihood, you're going to start wearing a mask at work, or you're going to have to go find another job. But yeah, it's interesting how that process works.
Oh yeah, you know what? It's what I was thinking, and I guess I was just way off base. I honestly saw that article and I didn't read it, and I sent it off to you because I figured that'd be something you'd be interested in. But I thought you were going to say to me it was because these bakers use yeast, and it was the yeast that was causing the problem.
No, I don't think the yeast. I mean, the yeast could be probably part of it, but I would put it more toward the protein, because the protein, your body has a tendency to react to proteins. Think about snake venom. It's really just a protein. The venom that comes out of the snake. It's a very powerful protein, and it's typically the proteins found in these grains that people tend to react with more than other things. And yeast, certainly some people have yeast allergies, but I wouldn't blame it on the yeast because they use such little yeast. But long run exposure to yeast, I'm sure will definitely cause some issues as well. But I would definitely put it onto the processed flour.
Yeah. It's amazing, Sean. You think about, well, you don't think about it. We take for granted, we're very complacent about this tremendous machine that we call a body. And all of the things that are going on that keeps us functioning, right? And it repairs itself. It yells at you when you do something wrong. It does all these different things, and it's just absolutely magnificent. And then you get these little things that trigger these issues that you don't give any thought to because you're accustomed to your body taking care of itself.
Right. Yeah. And the body. It's neat when you learn to listen to your body and you can sense when something's going wrong or when something is maybe off kilter, but it's going in a direction that it's supposed to be going anyway, like a fever. A lot of people freak out when they get a fever. They're like, oh my gosh, I got to take some ibuprofen or some aspirin or something and take something to reduce the fever. No, you don't need to reduce the fever. If the fever gets up really high, yeah, you've got to do something to bring it down so you don't give yourself brain damage. But a simple fever is a good thing. It's your body killing off a foreign invader. You don't want to give that invader extra help to do more damage in your body by lowering the fever. Now the body can't even fight what it's trying to fight.
Yeah.
So there's learning how your body works and understanding all the little signs and symptoms and really paying attention to those. It is fascinating. I'll do something. I know for me, when I'm not sticking to a proper diet and I'm eating things that I know I shouldn't eat, my bowels let me know. Everywhere from getting gassy to getting bloated and I know when I've been eating stuff that I shouldn't eat. But a lot of people, even though it's their bowels, their intestines are off, they still don't really put the food connection there.
Yeah, or something that you haven't eaten in a long time that's you're not really accustomed to it as rich. Well, I'll tell you what, go through you like I can't say what it'll go through you like, but it will go through you. Hey, like something going through a goose. Hey, listen, give a little teaser for our next segment, will you?
When we come back, there's a couple of things I want to talk about, and it's really kind of centered around just the FDA and some of the stuff they're doing. But one is I want to talk about a new drug that the FDA has just approved. That's approved for lowering cholesterol. And we'll just start there. There's a new drug out there for lowering cholesterol, and it sounds good at first blush, but I want to talk about really the dangers behind this new drug, and really get into some other drugs that they're. Well,
you know what? Maybe we'll open it up with a question for you, and you may not know anything about it, so it might just be more of an opinion, and that is I want to talk about. What they're prescribing for women with migraines now. It just seems kind of backward to me. At any event, we're 30 seconds over. We're going to go on a break. We'll be right back with our own Sean LaFave and his Geared for Wellness Corner right after this. Sean, we'll be right back. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. 2222. Aho Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And waiting in the wings, our own Sean Lefebvre in his Geared for Wellness Corner. Hey, Sean, let's give that sound a little check. I cranked this thing up a little bit. Let's see if that helps.
All right. Well, hopefully this is better. I can't obviously tell the difference on my end, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get some feedback during the show. But.
Yeah, from the board, it looks like I'm getting a full shot from you, but that I won't know until I actually listen to this thing later on. Hopefully we got that. Hopefully we got that resolved. Hey, I wanted to ask you a question. I heard about a new treatment that physicians are using for women who have migraine headaches, and they just don't seem to, and it's caused by their menstrual cycle. And so what's going on is they become debilitated because of the horrible migraine headaches. So what they're doing is they're taking this, and I don't know the name of it, but a particular pill that it's a birth control pill, but you take it and you wind up having a menstrual cycle once every 3 months, with this thing. And it then gives you the relief from the migraine headaches. But it's seeming to me that aren't you altering the body's functions by doing that? And couldn't you cause more harm in the long run by artificially doing something like that?
Yeah, it's and I've not heard of this, but it's actually kind of a fascinating concept. And obviously we're already, a lot of women are on birth control pills that regulate their cycle to make it every 4 weeks, which is what we believe it should be. But I actually don't. If the drug they're on, the side effects are no worse than the regular birth control pills, I actually would probably be more enthusiastic about this drug than about the regular birth control pills. I'm not a real big fan of anything that alters your cycle in general. I'm the hormone therapy just in general. I'm not a huge fan of it. But there was some big controversy, and it still exists about women on birth control and the increased incidence of breast cancer. And of course, the conclusion is women who take birth control are at an increased risk of breast cancer because this is are telling us so. But when you stop and look at it, you diagnose it from a more holistic point of view, from how women who don't take birth control, what their rate of breast cancer is, and you put in a different type of correlation. What we find is the more menstruation periods a woman has, the higher her likelihood of developing breast cancer. So a woman who never gets pregnant and has a monthly cycle is going to have the highest incidence of breast cancer, or the highest risk of breast cancer, all other factors remaining the same. Women who get pregnant, they obviously don't menstruate for 9 months. Their increase or their chance of breast cancer is decreased. And women who get pregnant and breastfeed, and a lot of times breastfeeding will also delay menstruation. Even they have an even lower chance of breast cancer. So the more babies a woman has, and the more she breastfeeds those babies, the lower her risk of breast cancer. And what they're saying is that menstruation in itself has a direct correlation with breast cancer. So if this new type of birth control that they're using to help prevent migraines is no more harmful than regular birth control, it could actually have a long-running benefit of helping prevent breast cancer as well. So I kind of like the idea. You know, I don't know if there are other side effects. I don't know. I've never heard of it until just now. But that would be my first kind of instinct on it. Is this may be a good thing?
Well, could be. I suppose. Not being a medical doctor, I don't know the answer to it. It just seems to me that whenever you start altering the physiology of the body, you and I have had this conversation many times that I'm more inclined to think that a lot of physicians treat symptoms and not causes. And
right, exactly, yeah.
And so I don't know that actually solves a problem or exacerbates it.
Yeah, and again, I'm a person that strictly from the point of view if the person is going to go the medical route. Now, to me, there are ways that you can prevent migraines that are natural, that don't include hormone therapy or any type of drugs. I would personally rather see someone go that route. There are also ways that you can live certain lifestyles to help prevent cancer. There's alternative natural routes for that as well. I personally wouldn't just say, hey, this sounds great, let's go out and do it. But compared to the birth control that women are on now, if they're going to be on birth control anyway, if they can do it where they're only doing a cycle every 3 months, it could actually work out better than our existing birth controls. Now, it could work out worse. There could be other complications that come from that I'm not really aware of because I don't know anything about if it's a hormone replacement or if it's, do you know if it's a pill or if it's one of those things they put into the skin? Do you know anything about how it works?
No, it's a pill.
It's a what?
It's a pill.
Oh, okay.
It's a pill, and you take it once, and it lasts 3 months.
Wow, that's a really powerful pill.
Yeah.
That right there just raises my hair on the back of my neck and go, okay, there's got to be anything that can stop a woman from having menstruation for 3 months.
Yeah, it scares you, right?
Once.
Yeah, scares you.
That now it became a little more scary to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be basically shutting down a system so hard that it takes it 3 months to reboot itself, and that does sound dangerous.
And the way it was explained to me is the female wants to drop that egg once every 28 days, and just as that egg's getting ready to drop, this precludes it from dropping. So it's just kind of hanging in there. What the heck is going on with it while it's there?
Yeah, that's eggs do, they I guess the integrity of the egg does break down over time. That's why as a woman gets older, she has more of a risk of having health issues with the child because of the degradation of the egg itself. And I always wonder if it's going to drop one egg every 3 months, or is it going to drop 3 eggs every 3 months? That's another interesting part. I didn't think of. I can't imagine it would drop 3 eggs, but maybe it will.
Yeah, and I can remember they're saying that women on birth control were more susceptible to multiple births because of that. And I'm wondering, does this make it even worse?
Yeah, that sounds like it very well could. I don't know how that works. I'll have to do some research on that. Now you got me fascinated.
Yeah.
New topic. I like it.
Okay, so we've got 4 minutes. It looks like. Is that right? Yeah. We got. What do we got? Yeah, 4 minutes. 5 minutes before we get off. You wanted to talk about something else, and I took up your time with that question.
No, that was actually a really good one. I like that. So I just been reading. Every time I get a new article on health or whatever, I get into this stuff, and the FDA. I'm just I obviously don't trust the FDA in general. I think that they're probably in it for the money as much as anybody else. But they just they've done a couple of things recently that just blow my mind. Of course, OxyContin. Mm-hmm. There's not a person alive that's going to go, oh, OxyContin, just in general, good for you. There's a lot of people who are addicted to it and want it, and they they're going to tell you, I need it. But the FDA just approved OxyContin for children as young as 11 years old.
You're kidding?
Nope. And I read that and I went, and of course they come out with the concept that we're only going to use this with extreme cases and on and on and on, and that's how it always starts. And then the doctor says, we'll give them OxyContin for that. That'll work really well. And pretty soon they're going to be prescribing it, in large numbers. And I think that just even cracking that door open, even for the kids who are in a tremendous amount of pain, there are other ways that we've been able to deal with this. And OxyContin just to me doesn't seem like a good idea, because OxyContin right now is responsible for, I think it's 1 in 8 deaths among young people.
Well, that's horrible.
Opioids are the number one killer in our country for accidental deaths. Yeah.
Well, 1 in 8 doesn't sound near as bad as 13%, and that's exactly what it is. And I'll tell you what, shouldn't that be a last resort rather than a first resort?
Yeah. It was funny. I read, of course, then that got me reading all this stuff, and I realized that OxyContin has killed more people than cocaine and morphine. We go after all these drug lords in South America and Central America and Mexico, and we've got our own drug lords right here in our own country that are killing even more people, but it's totally legal.
Yeah.
How is it that we can allow a company to profit billions of dollars, and it's killing more people than the cocaine industry could even try to kill? So we're going after those drug lords. We're fighting the war against drugs, as they say. But you're not fighting the war against drugs. You're subsidizing it. You're subsidizing the killing of our children. And now you want 11-year-olds to be able to legally be prescribed OxyContin. That is an extremely addictive drug. The last thing you want is an 11-year-old all of a sudden realizing how good this stuff makes you feel. So when they're 16 and they get a job, now they can afford to go out and get it on the black market.
Yeah,
that's just a scary thought to me.
And then we wind up, because we put them on this, we created a drug addict that we wind up putting in jail, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. We've got a drug addict that now we're ended up putting in jail because we wanted to give him a highly addictive drug at 11 or 12 years old. Yeah,
You there?
Yes.
Oh, hang on. I'm sorry, Suzette. I think I hung up on Sean accidentally. Can I get you to call back in about 3 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
FDA approved this cholesterol lowering drug. It just came out, and they use it in conjunction with statins, not to replace the statins, but to use it in conjunction with statins. So it's not like, we're going to take away one and give you something better. It's called Proluent is the trade name of it. And what they found, and this is what kills me, so they add it on top of the statins. 1.2% of the patients who receive both the statins and the injections of Proluent, or how you say it, Proluent, experience neurocognitive problems or memory problems or some type of confusion, right, compared to only 0.5% people taking statins alone. So you've got, a 120% increase, or not 120%, but it's about 140%. Actually, you have a 140% increase in memory, neurocognitive, and confusion problems by being on both of these. You have about the double increase of people suffering from myalgia, which is a muscle pain.
Well, Sean, I'm sorry, but we are out of time. We're going to have to continue this on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll finish up with this on Thursday. Robert, please go by too quick, but God, I love talking to you. You're awesome, man.
All right, buddy. You take care. Have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you on Thursday.
Thanks, Robert. Bye.
All right. Now, don't go away. When we come back, we'll be with our own Suzette Mailer in the Travel Corner. We'll be right back. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:07 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? She's waiting in the wings. She's talking about travel. She's excited about travel. She's going to excite you about travel. So you know what? Let's get her in here. Our own Suzette Mailer and her IFAB Travel Corner. Nobody seems to know about you and me, but we got it handled anyway. I'm glad we got it worked out. How you doing?
You sure I don't sound like a little mouse in the corner?
No.
Okay.
You're still running through the board, and I'm monitoring everything. For some reason, I generally have everybody call in on a special number, and when people are trying, it's kicking them out, and I don't know what's going on with it. We were working on this thing this morning. And I don't. You know what? I'm just not technologically advanced enough to know what's going on, but I was smart enough to know how to get around it.
Okay. Well, here we go.
So listen, where are we traveling to today?
Well, I was going to talk about buying property in Italy.
Oh, that'd be a great subject.
Right, but we're going to do that another time. We are going to talk. I received something in the mail today. Mm-hmm. It's that new state law, mobility monitoring. To enforce gas restrictions, regulators now have a plan to monitor and collect your personal driving data. you can say no. So I think we should talk about this today, since you insisted on it in the text you sent me.
Well, you know what? You're right. I did kind of insist on it because you were writing this to me 10 minutes before I went live on the air, and I figured it was something that was really important to you. And it was basically about travel a little bit. And
it is.
It incenses me that the legislature would pull this kind of a stunt against its own citizens. And now that I've said that, now that I've said that, you ought to tell. I was going to say, now that I've said that, you ought to tell people what it's about.
Yes, let's do that. So we're talking about Senate Bill 350, and regulators now have a plan to monitor. This is what my notice in the mail said. Regulators now have a plan to monitor personal driving data that can be used to enforce gas restrictions, because our state legislators, or the governor, signed in. Set goals of reaching 50% reduction in petroleum use from motor vehicles. Another one is generating 50% of our electricity from renewable power sources and doubling energy efficiency in existing buildings, all by 2030. So, and the purpose is to create jobs, grow the state's economy, and improve public health by setting new standards for California's renewable portfolio standard, reducing petroleum use, and increasing energy efficiency in existing buildings. It's noble and good, considering, my response is noble and good, considering the unprecedented weather extremes we've been experiencing. And, in California, we're expecting an El Nino, and the scientists say that it'll be extreme. So they're calling it what are they calling it? Godzilla? We're expecting a Godzilla?
Yeah.
So, but we have to weigh that against infringing on our privacy. So let me talk about the privacy part of it. So the state-mandated onboard data systems will enable regulators to collect and monitor the following data from your car. And number one, it will collect how fast you drive. 2, how much gas you purchase and how much gas your car uses. 3, how well you respond to your dashboard signals. 4, how many trips you make and the distance you drive. 5, how long and how often you allow your car to idle. And 6, how often and how hard you use your brakes.
So it sounds a lot like George Orwell's 1984, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Well, George, that was in George Orwell's 1984, it was the government that kept track of everything. You couldn't go anywhere, eat anything, do anything that the government didn't track and didn't already know about. You got to say to yourself, there's a reason they want to know how fast I'm driving. I'm guessing I'm going to get a surprise piece of paper in the mail, right?
Okay. Well, does this set a dangerous precedent?
Yeah.
Of collecting more data about it, so that we can't, if we rob a bank, there's nowhere to go.
Well, you know what, Suzette? I live in a free country. You live in a free country. At least I'm old enough to remember when it was a free country. And why do they have the right to know where I'm going and how fast I'm getting there?
Okay. All right. Now let's weigh this against climatology. Now listen to this. The Guardian reports extreme weather becoming more common. So they're saying because extreme weather is becoming more common, in fact, we're on a trajectory for a wild ride with regard to weather. Mm-hmm. We need to do something about cutting our petroleum. So climate scientists in Germany noticed that since 2000, there have been an exceptional number of summer weather extremes, some causing massive damage to society. And heat waves in Russia in 2010 saw 50,000 people die, and the wheat harvest hit hard. And in Western Europe in 2003, they saw 30,000 deaths, and they were both attributed to the climate change. And I will also add that I saw an interesting documentary where, because Syria and the Middle East rely on that wheat from Russia, and the wheat, they're not able, I'm not sure Russia's selling wheat there anymore, and so those people are facing a shortage in food, and they have to pay more money for it.
Well, the interesting thing there is that I was under the perhaps misconception, maybe it's a used to be, but I thought Russia got all their wheat from us.
No, well, they have their own bread basket, and China also has their bread basket as well as the United States, and all three bread baskets are suffering from drought and extreme heat. Now that's a problem, and that's coming from, they say, the scientists are saying it's, we need to cut petroleum use. We need to, so this is, we have to come up with a solution, and SB 350 is what we have on the table right now.
Well, yeah, but there have got to be other solutions to this, and basically what this SB 350 is, it's leading itself to a different way of collecting a highway tax for infrastructure refurbishment, and I think that's really where they're going with this thing. And they're not going here because of climate change or any of those kinds of things. And as far as petroleum use, my firm belief is that if we really wanted to lessen our reliance on petroleum, we have the technology to do it. It's already out there, and it's these big.
I know what that technology is. Raise the price.
Yeah.
That's what they do in Europe.
Yep.
They've gone to the liter. They're selling it by the liter, so it doesn't look as bad. But maybe it's double.
Well, you know what?
More than double the cost of our fuel, our petrol.
I think it was probably 15 years ago, maybe even more. I remember I had rented a car. We did some extensive driving throughout Europe, and the car needed to get a quart of oil. So I think I was in Italy. I might have been. I think I was in Italy. And basically a quart of oil cost me $50 U.S. dollars. Mm-hmm. So.
But they're far more conservative with their cars. You don't see huge cars in Europe.
No.
People drive small cars. They don't have to rebuild roads because of large cars. Maybe the answer is to, petrol. They can lower the price to get people to drive more and buy more gas, but maybe what we need to do is increase a tax on it so that it's less expensive to buy an electric car.
Well, instead of making the consumer increase
or
the
take public transportation and take that tax money and divert it to public transportation.
Right, but hang on a second. Instead of us increasing the profit levels for the petroleum companies or increasing the tax revenue for the government, who has already proved how prudently they can invest our money, I think it ought to be on a use basis, and I agree with that. I don't like this system at all. And I think there's other ways that you could do it. And certainly when I talked about the technology isn't raising gas taxes. Technology is creating vehicles and wherewithals not to have to use that petroleum or that gas. Electric cars, look at Tesla's doing with his electric car. 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, for Pete's sake, and it's got a 250-mile range. That's technology, and that would solve this problem. Now, the other problem it won't solve, and that is the fact that we have not been maintaining our highways and our roads prudently or efficiently or regularly for years and years and years. It was in 1956 that Eisenhower actually created the interstate system, and we haven't done anything since we built them.
Well, I want to get back to Tesla and electric cars. There is a negative byproduct to those cars, and that is what to do with the batteries. The batteries are going to cause.
You think that that's any more of a dramatic issue than it is what the petroleum products are doing to our air?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure we have enough landfills to support all the batteries. I think public transportation. Reliance on public transportation is the way to go. We would walk more. I just think the European model is a beautiful model.
Well, I would agree.
We all look like French women and French men.
Yeah, well, I would agree with you. That the model is public transportation. Unfortunately, they do have good public transportation in the East and the Midwest. They do not have good public transportation in the West. and so we've been built around highways and cars and driving and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a lot harder to implement that here, but certainly Europe has got this thing licked. They've got great public transportation, and you know what? I'd much rather take the train than take the freeway.
I agree. So I think that we should vote for public transportation, high-speed rails. You know, it's a drag to have to stop at every town, but on high speed. You know, I took one of the fastest trains in the world from Shanghai to the Shanghai airport.
And because I got involved in this conversation and we're a minute over, we're going to talk about that Shanghai train and how you got Shanghaied onto it right after these brief messages. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Suzette Mailer and her Shanghai train. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Suzette Mailer with her IFAB Travel Corner. And right now, she is on her Shanghai bullet train. Hey, Suzette, tell us all about it.
Well, you know, I was just saying, Shanghai invested in the maglev train, and that thing goes about 300 miles per hour. And And I have driven from, I used to travel to Shanghai twice a year, and it would take me, 2 hours or more to get from downtown Shanghai to the airport. But this puppy would get me there in a half hour, and it was always filled with people. It was heavily used. It's so easy to access. But, no, I'm going to change subjects here.
Sure you are.
No. Here we go. Do you think it's time for petroleum to throw in the towel and drive down the corridors of renewable energy?
Yes.
And eco-minded new inventions?
Yes.
There's this wonderful magazine that I picked up. It's called Conscious Company. And, of course, I got it at Whole Foods. Beautifully written. And Conscious Company points out that historically there has been one measurement of success for companies, and that measurement was monetary. These measurements, it's more measurements than one now. The new equation for a successful company is judged by its positive effect on society and the environment, in addition to making money. So petroleum needs to go this direction. And our retirement investments, how we invest should align with this new evolving marketplace. Conscious Company features companies and idealists who embody this new business formula for business. And I quite agree with this. I'm an offshore manufacturing specialist. I've been doing that for at least 15 years. And I saw a model that was very money-driven and me. But I think that it had, all the typical players from the inventor to the patent attorney, manufacturer, importer, retailer. And that can pivot towards this business model and inventing products that are good for the world and solve problems instead of solving dumb little problems in the kitchen, like another piece of plastic. Like we need another piece of plastic in our tool drawer in the kitchen. But anyway, one company that I'd like to highlight that was featured in Conscious Company magazine is Transatomic Power. And you might find this interesting, Robert. It was founded by Dr. Leslie DeWayne and Mark Massey. They both hold PhDs at MIT. And what they've done is they are kind of bringing back an original model of nuclear energy. Let's see, how do I say this? There was a more expensive way and bulkier way to use nuclear power. The power plants were bulkier and more expensive, but they were safer because if something were to happen, the reactors would actually freeze over and not overheat. But because there had not been, in the 1960s, there had not been a prior accident to learn from, they went with the less expensive model, and so now we have these nuclear plants around that can overheat. So Oak Ridge National Lab in Tennessee, back in the 1960s, they developed a type of nuclear reactor called a molten salt reactor that's extremely safe. Again, it basically was incapable of melting down. But what she's saying that's very interesting is that we have all these barrels and barrels of nuclear waste that are buried. And she's saying that with this molten design, they can take those barrels and reuse that energy. It's so full of energy, and that's why it's so dangerous. And they reuse it.
Well, the problem is that there is a large number of people who believe that we shouldn't be using that kind of nuclear technology because of the adverse effects that are there.
I have to say, I hear you, and I agree. I think what happened in Japan is just horrible. I mean, especially to build a reactor on a fault.
Well, how about right here in our own backyard at San Onofre?
And along our rivers. But she's saying here 270,000 tons of used nuclear fuel exists. It's in barrels, and those barrels are going to rust. So she's saying if you're able to take that fuel and put it into waste-burning reactors like the transatomics, you could produce enough electricity to power the entire world for 72 years. She said it's a staggering amount of energy, and
now what is her?
She's saying that her model is safer. So I think that what I'm saying is I think the petroleum companies should start looking for new sources of energy and join.
I agree with that. I agree with that part of it. I don't know that I agree with this other part. I don't know who this lady is, and I don't know what the scientific.
Come on, she's a PhD from MIT. What more do you want?
That doesn't mean anything to me. What it does,
Yeah.
what I would be interested in, what I
at.
would be interested in knowing is how many of her peers actually support her position, and I don't think probably the majority of them do. And I see dangers there that need to be taken care of. And I also had not that long ago I had a conversation with Ray on the air, and they were talking about wave technology or current technology that could more than provide all the energy that we needed very, very inexpensively and without defacing anything and without any danger to the public at large.
Well, actually, I spoke with a former DWP employee who worked on wave technology, and he said it's not enough. It's not enough. He said nuclear is what you need to do. His bottom line was nuclear was all that there was. Even he said the windmills. What are they called? Turbines. Wind turbines are not going to do it. But anyway, my point is, I'm not.
You actually surprised me because I've always thought of you in terms of being an environmentalist, and I don't see nuclear energy as being environmentally.
I am trying to tell you that we have barrels and barrels and barrels, 270,000 barrels of this nuclear waste in cement and then in metal, and it's not going to last for the. How many thousands of years?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm still very surprised.
We're leaving a legacy, a bad legacy, and she's saying the reason it's such a problem is there's so much energy in it, and we are able to extract that energy. But what I'm saying, I'm not.
It's radioactive.
It's
Hang on a second. Suzette, I'm going to turn your mic off if you don't let me talk to you. Here's the thing.
Sure.
Here's the thing. We're talking about radioactivity, not just energy and power. And we're talking about tremendous dangers here that we're playing with. And you know what? It's going to take somebody that's an awful lot smarter and a lot more of them than an MIT PhD to get me convinced here. I think pulling that stuff out and making it safer makes sense. But trying to pull it out and use it to create catastrophes that could just ruin the environment and ruin the citizens of this country or the world is not the answer. And I don't want to see a lot of three-headed babies out there.
I agree with you. I don't like the current nuclear situation. I do not. I hope the turbines work. I am concerned. I mean, we have concerns. This legacy of these barrels of nuclear waste that are buried in our earth. This is a problem. It's a legacy that it's a problem, and the batteries are a problem. And so, I'm not saying do it. Of course, it needs more research. Of course, but I just think that the possibilities are out there.
Well, yeah, they are. The statistics that I saw on this wave current technology is that one unit that wouldn't even be visible, it'd be under the sea and it'd be far out to sea, it wouldn't be a danger to anybody, could actually provide energy for 250,000 homes. And that's a small unit. If you think about the wave and current technology that we have up and down our coast, on both coasts and around the world, there's more than enough wave technology to power the entire world forever. The problem is the petroleum companies won't make any money at it, and neither will Southern California Edison.
Oh, interesting. But you see, I think that's where petroleum should go. I mean, they can create their own wave energy.
Yeah.
That's where DWP should go, perhaps.
Yeah. There are alternatives that are not being explored simply because of the non-profitability to the people that would lose their current positions because of the energy products that they already provide.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. I'm not arguing with you because I don't like nuclear energy right now. It's very scary. From what I read this whole article. It's hard to say it on the on the air right now. We don't have the time to do it, but it was, it's interesting. She makes some very good points, and she's just an example of new technology, and that maybe we do not need to vote in SB 350. That maybe there are some other more prudent answers.
I support you there. I don't think we should, just on the surface, I don't support SB 350. But you know what? I want to ask you a favor. If you could scan that article and email it to me, I'd sure appreciate it.
Which article?
The one that you're talking about from this lady.
Oh, I'd love to. Yes, I definitely will.
Yeah, I'd like to read that. And right now I'm criticizing her. I don't even know who she is, and I don't know what support she has. But that would give me the ability to not only read that, but to look up the other stuff that's sitting out there, so that I could give an informed opinion about how I feel about it.
Right, and you know what I think I'll do is I will give it to Ray also.
Yeah.
And maybe you two can decide if she should do it or not. But she has there are a lot of political hurdles
sure.
to making it. They're not even close, but it's all in the research phase, but the regulations do not prohibit proceeding with this sort of. But it did exist in the 1960s, and it was abandoned because the other way was cheaper, and again, there had not been accidents. They didn't have a history of accidents, but now they do. And she's saying this does not, it freezes over. It does not melt.
Well, I mean, you know what? And I think that sounds really interesting. But you know what? It's not just enough to say freeze it and reuse it. You need to have methods for actually accomplishing that.
Well, yeah, this is, again, new baby technology. They're bringing it back, and they're improving the model.
Yeah.
And again, it's in research stage. But it looks very promising. And again, it's a way to deal with the 270,000 barrels of nuclear waste buried in our landfills.
Boy, if we could find a safe way of dealing with that and utilizing it, I'd be all for it.
Yeah, and again, I just want to reiterate, that those barrels will be there for thousands of years, and she said the reason why.
Well, we can't get into it now, so we're going to have to get into it next week because we're already out of time.
Okay.
So why don't you give a little plug for yourself here?
Sure. Check out my website that actually just diverts to a Facebook page at iFab Travel. Give me a like, and some fabulous articles in there, lots of travel pictures, and thank you, everybody, for listening.
Hey,
and Robert, thank you.
Fantastic show. I loved today's show, and so thank you very much. Now, everybody, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to have today's birthdays, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the Day, and interesting but useless facts. We've been talking to our own Suzette Mailer, and boy, what a great show. If you missed it, you know what? You can go to what the heck? Podomatic. You can go to Spreaker. You can go to my website and listen to it. Today was a fantastic show from Suzette. Suzette, thank you so much, and have a wonderful week.
You too.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:41 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 89 degrees. Boy, this hadn't budged. It's 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, today, August 25th, and you know what it is? Sure you do. It's somebody's birthday. Oh, boy, you know what? This first guy that's his birthday, we all know him. We all love him. He was born in 1930, and he's an actor best known for portraying the character James Bond in his films between 1962 and 1973. It's happy birthday to Sean Connery. Yep, 85 years old. Wow. Can you imagine? How about this guy? Born in 1954, a musician who participated in London's rock scene and became associated with the punk rock and new wave musical genres. Happy birthday, Elvis Costello. And finally, here's a real looker, born in 1970, one of the world's most successful models, having appeared on over 500 magazine covers. Happy birthday, Claudia Schiffer. Yep. I don't know if it's Schiffer or Schiffer, but we all know who she is. She's just absolutely beautiful. Well, what happened today in history? I can tell you this. In 1916, the United States National Park Service was created. Wow, can you imagine? And in 1950, President Harry Truman orders the United States Army to seize control of the nation's railroads to avert a strike. Wow, sounds like Reagan and the air traffic controllers, doesn't it? And how about this? In 1981, Voyager 2 spacecraft makes its closest approach to Saturn. Remember how excited we were about that? Now we've gone past Pluto. And then finally, in 1989, Mayumi Moriyama becomes Japan's very first female cabinet member or secretary. That's something. Well, our quote for today comes from Quincy Jones, and Quincy says, "It's amazing how much trouble you can get in when you don't have anything else to do." Boy, isn't that a fact? And I think we've all known that for a long, long time. Well, time for our daily teachings for your life. And we got another good one. They're all good, but it's all about positive mental attitudes. If you don't have a positive mental attitude, you know what? Shame on you. It's your fault. How about this? To create the life of your dreams, the time has come for you to love you. Focus on your joy. Do all the things that make you feel good. Love you, inside and out. Everything will change in your life when you change the inside of you. Allow the universe to give you every good thing that you deserve by being a magnet to them all. To be a magnet for every single thing you deserve, you must be a magnet of love. Yeah. And if you want to be loved, you got to love, right? Absolutely. Well, it is time for our Harvard Business Tip of the Day. And the management tip today is, don't get stuck in your boss's shadow. Yep, you heard me right. You know, a good boss can stand up for you, help you with office politics, and represent your team to the rest of the company. But hitching your wagon to a star manager can backfire if you aren't visible enough to others. How do you make sure your relationship with your boss isn't holding you back? First, consider whether people outside your department understand what you're good at. If not, ask your boss to publicly acknowledge your achievements and help you connect with colleagues around the company. Second, seek opportunities to make yourself more visible. Offer to represent your department in a new initiative and speak up in meetings and with senior personnel. And then third, look for informal ways to connect with co-workers. Join the company softball league, participate in volunteer days, or socialize at company parties, and be patient. Establishing your reputation takes time, but killing it can happen in an instant. Just remember that. Well, it is time for our interesting but useless facts. And you know what? I just love this part of the show. And so you know what? Basically, we're probably going to continue it. You had to question some of it only because, you know, these guys got to get a life. But how about this? Women say that the part of a man's body that they admire the most is his buttocks. Yeah. Not his hair, not his face, not his arms or his chest or his stomach, his butt. Yeah. Well, you know, the Nestles haven't run Nestle, the chocolate company, since 1875. Wow, long time, huh? Did you know that a group of officers is called a mess? So I guess it's redundant when you call it the officer's mess, huh? Did you know there was no soap in the ancient Mediterranean world? Olive oil was used to wash the body in addition to cooking. I'm not even going to explore that one. Did you know that dentists in medieval Japan extracted teeth by pulling them out with their fingers? Yep. I'm glad I live when I live. Did you know that water-based mammals like dolphins and whales swish their tails up and down? Only fish move them sideways. Give that some thought. That's a fact. Yep. Did you know that the average lifespan of a Major League Baseball is 5 to 7 pitches? Wow. You're sending all those balls to these poor kids in the street that don't have anything to play with. Did you know that assuming that all the offspring survived, holy cow, geez. There would be 190 quintillion flies could be produced in 4 months by the offspring of a single pair of flies. I don't even want to give that any thought. And then let me leave you with this. The first players elected to Baseball Hall of Fame were Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth, Honus Wagner, Christy Mathewson, and Walter Johnson in 1936. Now, with that, do not go away. When we come back, I'm going to answer your emails. First one's from Sam Salas from Colonial Heights, Virginia. He's saying the wedding is off. But is there a tax break with that too? I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. The professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity, that's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through their doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Dental Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39. A complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transaction security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:52 p.m. Pacific Time. Currently still 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, we're coming down to the wire. It's time for me to answer your emails. And as always, I want to caution you that, we do the best we can at answering these emails, but some of the data you send in is a little sketchy once in a while. So we always encourage you to seek the advice of a licensed professional. They're always going to save you more money than what they cost you. And they'll give you peace of mind to just sleep at night. And that's the good part about it. One of the conditions of their licensing is that they have errors and omissions insurance. So if they give you bad advice, they pay the piper, not you. You don't have to worry about those registered letters and doorbells ringing and tapping on the shoulder or phone calls. It's all covered. Well, our first email comes from Sam Salas from Colonial Heights, Virginia, and as I said, he says, the wedding's off. Is there a tax break too? Well, he writes, I bought a house with my fiancée a year ago. We've since broken up and she's moved out. I can't afford to keep the place by myself, but its value has risen. Can I take any of my gain tax free if I sell it? Well, here's the deal, Sam. Yeah, You can. Normally, to take tax-free gain on a home sale of up to $250,000, a single taxpayer must own and use the home as his or her primary residence for 2 of the prior 5 years. But if the home sale is forced by what they call unforeseen circumstances before the 2 years is up, gain in a proportionally reduced amount can be taken tax-free. Now, the IRS regulations specifically give the canceling of a wedding after buying a home as an example of such unforeseen circumstances. So, yep, there's a tax break for you too, Sam. How about this? Louis Rios from Olathe, Kansas is asking about a depreciation decision, and he says, I plan to start a sideline business while keeping my regular job. If I take the Section 179 deduction for the equipment that I buy, but the startup has a first-year loss, can I take the deduction against my salary income? Well, Louis, if the business is a proprietorship, then yes, you can take its 179 deduction against your salary, but you might save more tax in the long run by not doing that. Here's why. Say you buy equipment the cost of which normally is deductible through depreciation over 5 years. That Section 179 deduction lets you deduct up to $112,000 of its cost right away instead. Now, this faster deduction sounds good, right? But slower depreciation deductions taken later when your business may be turning profitable will reduce that 15.3% self-employment tax as well as the income tax, which the current deduction against salary will not do. So look at the numbers both ways before making that deduction choice. I'm sure you'll be glad you did that. Next email comes from Emily Rolden from Monroe, Michigan, asking about dependency exemptions and says, my mother's living in a nursing home and has run out of money, so I'll be paying her costs. Are there tax write-offs that I can get for this? Well, Emily, yeah, there sure are. If you'll be paying more than half of your mother's support, you probably will be able to claim her as a dependent and get a dependency exemption for her, even though she's not living with you. Now, that'll let you claim a medical expense deduction for any medical costs that you pay on her behalf. Your mother may also be eligible to have Medicaid pay her costs. So take note here, payments from Medicaid and Social Security count as support from other sources when determining whether you provide major support. So you need more details on this, go to IRS Publication 501, and it'll get all spelled out for you. Last email comes from Genevieve Russo from Fort Collins, Colorado, asking about injured spouse status and says, my husband was hit with a back tax bill dating from before our marriage. I'm told that the IRS can take my tax refund to pay his tax debt if we file a joint return. Should I file separately? Well, Genevieve, there's a better alternative here. Claim injured spouse status by filing IRS Form 8379. That's injured spouse allocation with your joint tax return. That protects the portion of the tax refund on your joint return that's allocable to you from being taken by the IRS to pay your husband's tax debt. Now, filing separate returns will increase the tax rates that you and your husband pay without reducing his tax debt, and so would likely cost rather than save you money. So you want to kind of keep that in mind as you're doing these things. It's really important that you look at these things all ways. But you also want to make sure that you don't leave yourself liable for an undue tax debt, right? So, listen, having said that, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, Live 365 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio, Mondays through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com, where I get all my emails for the show. On my next show, my expert contributor is going to be Ray Mailer with his series, The American Grid. My special guest, Joel Saltzman, is talking wireless news. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then, when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza. Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. We had a fantastic show here today. If you want to listen to it again, just go to Spreaker or Podomatic or any of our places. Go to my website, and you'll be able to pick it up. In the meantime, you can listen to me tomorrow, every Wednesday at 6:15 on John Matthews' show, The Conservative Syndicate. Just go to theconservativesyndicate.net. After my show is over, in about 6:15, John and I will be talking about controversial political things. In the meantime, I want you to stay safe. I want you to be happy, and I want you to make everybody around you, their lives better because they know you. Good night, everybody.